Anybody
Welcome back to this week's edition of So You Want to Be in IT. We're a podcast aimed at those starting their journey out in the vast world of IT. We're talking navigating the IT world as a beginner, how to break in, what to look for to break in, how to climb the ladder, office politics, management, literally everything in between. Anything that pertains to being a IT beginner. So whether you're right out of college looking for your first gig, or if IT is a second life for you, second career, third career, however many you've had, IT is in your foresight for the immediate future. We are here. We are your guys. I'm your host, Pat.
Hey there, I'm Dean. Welcome
Dean's
back.
there as always. So you got us two again for another episode this week. Episode 13, Dean, a baker's dozen, as you like to say. Here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. This week we're going to get all into travel. If you're in the IT space or you just do a lot of traveling for your job or for pleasure, Pat and I are going to get into the ins and outs of making that pain less painful and how Pat and I navigate through those difficult times. Yeah, welcome back and thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had some really good feedback over the last couple episodes. People are really starting to catch on. So our numbers and listening, people tuning in are really starting to jump up. So we appreciate everybody joining and hanging out with us for a little bit. So as long as you guys are enjoying it, we're going to keep talking. Yeah, Dean mentioned we're going to talk about travel, mainly because I just did travel for work last week. And Dean,
First time for a while, right?
What's that?
First time for a while, right?
Yeah, first time.
That IT seat.
It felt a little weird, to be honest. It felt a little like, what am I doing here? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I traveled for work. You traveled for pleasure. There's a distinct difference in those types of travel.
I mainly travel for work, but yeah, the most recent was for pleasure.
That's
I got
true.
To attend a wedding in Mexico. But yeah, the pleasure side is very nice, but it can still be painful. But mainly I do travel for my customer bases in California. So living out in Nevada, I definitely have to travel across states a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've done my fair share of travel as well. I don't necessarily like it. I think it's a pain. I should say this. I don't like getting on a plane to fly. It's getting on a plane really stinks in my eyes. Like, not that I'm afraid to fly. Being in the air is not a problem. It's all the work that you have to get there before you get in the plane and therefore in the air. It's all the security checks, the waiting around, the getting there at 12 billion hours before your flight takes off to make sure you get through the gates and the checks and all that kind of stuff and whatnot. That's what I hate. I don't mind necessarily the travel or being in the air. That's the least of my worries. I just don't like the stuff that precedes me being in the air.
Yeah, I hear you. I have traveled that way in the past, but now my process is really smooth, like slick. I'm not too sure how you do it, Pat, but I sign up for pre-TSA clear, which are basically like airport security protocols that allow you to like skip the queue and allow security to be a lot less painful. So I'm able to just get dropped off 30 and 45 minutes of my flight and I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's nice. I wish I had the TSA pre-check, at least for this trip. I did not have it, so I had to sit through the line. And I got to be honest, I flew out of Philly. I don't know why I fly out of Philly. It's over an hour from my house drive. There's at least one airport that's closer to me. And then if I really wanted to stretch it, there's another one. So I could technically go to two different ones. And Philly is just a nightmare because of the amount of people that travel through that airport is just insane. So I don't know why I picked Philly. I had a brain fart in that instance. And then I picked like a super early flight. My flight took off at 6 a.m. So I had to be there at an ungodly hour and then plus the hour drive to the airport from my house. So I had to leave the house at like 2:45 in the morning to get down there at 4-ish, somewhere in there to park the car and get shuttled over and all that nonsense. 4-ish. And I got there and the security lines were, I couldn't believe how long they were. I was like, where are all you people going at such an ungodly hour? Yeah, but it didn't take long for me to get through security, but it looked a lot worse than what it was. But I was like, Oh my God.
When you pull up to the airport and you see
Oh,
that line, and especially when you get an early flight, you're like, this should be a breeze. Like, no
right.
one should be up at this hour. Like, I should be in and out in 20 minutes flat. And then
Right.
you get there and you're like, why is the world here right now?
What is
It's,
happening?
yeah.
Like, did they bust people in from outside of Philadelphia? It was insane. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
had a
caught
quick
me out a few times.
I had a quick panic attack. I was like, "Oh man, this is not going to be good." But it wasn't too bad. I got through pretty quick, and with one bloodshot eye, I got on the plane and we landed. But so it's just, you're right. You have to plan for it. And I've
You
traveled
have
for,
to, because when you do it, I would say cattle class, I class it. Like, you have to take your belt off, your shoes,
yep,
take your laptop out your bag if you don't have a TSA approved one.
yep,
And then it's just so invasive and you just feel discombobulated. Like, I had to go through that on my recent trip because my wife is not pre-TSA. So I
okay,
get see the sense and one go through pre-TSA and then one not. We just all suffer together deal.
yeah, that would set the wrong tone for the trip for all you
Definitely.
married folk out there. That's a red flag.
Definitely, when you upgrade, don't forget to upgrade your partner too, because
Note.
they'll still slow you down.
That's right.
But yeah, it's so invasive, and then you just have to like literally strip naked, give
Yeah.
all your stuff to someone to scan, and then you're just like, you're so concerned, like, I don't want to lose anything.
Yep.
You just, your mind's all over the place. Like, you're worried if you got everything off. Like, you're worried if you collected everything. Like, everyone else is doing the same thing. It's just, it really is terrible. You're just not you're not in the right mind frame.
Nope.
It's just, it really shakes me up. It's like picking me up by a friendly giant and then just shaking me up for 5 minutes and then putting me back down. I'm just like dizzy. I'm just like, what was that? That was just.
I know. And you're like you get all kinds of people yelling at you. I need your ID here. I need to see your face. And then the mask thing with the pandemic, that adds a layer of complexity. And you're like,
sure.
Pull your mask down so I can see your face. I'm like, oh, for goodness sakes, this is insane.
And then I swear each state has like their own nuance of rules. Because like sometimes you have to put your stuff in the bin. Sometimes they say leave it in the bag. Like, I wish these people just had a universal rule, just even across America, where it's just like, wherever state I go to, it's the same damn rule.
That's right.
No, not even each state, each airport is actually different. I've flown in like California and it's just like one place bin, some places no bin, just bag. I'm just like, guys, pick one. Come on.
Yeah. So for example, in Philly, I forgot to take my laptop out of my backpack. Yeah. So I sent the backpack through. I just put it in the bin and sent it through. And of course that got flagged. So I got on the other end of the scan and the guy's, is this your bag? I'm like, yep. He's like, you forgot to take your laptop out. I'm like, oh, that kind of thing. So like I had to go through that, and then it got checked and everything else got checked, and they take your hand sanitizer. They tested for, I don't know, the explosives or that's not the right term, any kind of gas or anything like that. It's such a freaking hassle. And I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, but you're right. That was a totally different experience than what I had in Des Moines, Iowa. So great place, by the way. So shout out to you guys that are in Des Moines or live close to Des Moines. You guys got a nice gig out there. I must say, it was a cool little place for the first time for me being there. But yeah, coming back from Des Moines, I literally got like strip search. Like they noticed something on I had my Flyers hoodie on. For those of you that know, I'm a big Flyers guy.
Maybe that's why you got strip searched.
Yeah, something's tipping us off, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And what they do now, I guess, is they have gloves on and they basically rub whatever spot the scanner.
Oh, I had this. I recently had this too. Yeah.
And they actually rub their gloves on the thing and then take their gloves off and put it in this machine that they have handy there, and it like tests for like certain chemicals, or I don't know if it's like a gunpowder residue or something of that nature. And
don't fire a gun if you're trying to fly the same day.
I was like, I literally came from my hotel room. Like it was, again, I was flying back. It was a 6 a.m. flight, so I was there a little later, obviously, because the airport was right down the street from my hotel, so I didn't have the hour travel. But I was there semi early, and the lines were a lot shorter, thank God. So I moved right through, but. Like I literally got out of bed, put my stuff on. I had all my stuff ready to go, and I walked out the door. And I was like, I didn't go anywhere. I hadn't been anywhere. I was in the rental car and then dropped the rental car off, and here I am. And they're like, yeah, just sometimes we put baby powder on or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, ooh, baby powder? What kind of nonsense is going on here? So then So they had strip searched me. I take my belt off. They went like in my personal space area, like with their and
Damn.
I had like a new trainee guy that was like new to the job 2 weeks, and he's trying to make a name for himself. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna this and I'm gonna that." He was telling me the whole step of the way, and I was like, "Do whatever you got to do, Barney Fife. I got a plane to catch." Like it was just so insane. But yeah, it was my first true like quote unquote strip shirts. They went through my bag. They went through my laptop bag. My
Oh, I've
my
been there. Yeah.
They went through my
They
clothes
scan
bag.
they scan your laptop for something weird too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they
They
use some
took the
weird
laptop
pen
out.
and then
Oh,
like they scan it and they're like, "Oh, you hiding anything?" It's like, no.
no, like I'm just trying to get home, man. Like
Right.
it's 5 o'clock. I have one bloodshot eye open, man. I'm not trying to make no waves. I'm trying to get home.
Yeah, just for a tip, if you do get searched, I always request them to put new gloves on. It's
Yeah,
actually by law, you can request it. A lot of them don't like to change their gloves, especially when they just changed them. However, you could still request it. And recently I had a similar experience to Pat, and they wanted to check my hands. I asked the gentleman in TSA, could you please change your gloves? He replied back to me saying that I recently changed them. I told him that I didn't see you change them, so I would like you to change your gloves. And then a lady came up to me and tried to do the same thing and test me. And then I was like, if you want to change your gloves too, I'm happy to be tested.
yeah,
But until I see clean gloves in this global pandemic, you ain't
yeah.
touching me.
Right.
And I have to see you put clean gloves on. That's
Yep.
the law.
There you
I
go.
don't care if you're pissed off or you don't like it.
That's right.
I don't like when I get randomly selected.
Yeah,
for
I'm not
gun
liking this.
residue.
No, I agree. The other sort of tip I had, other than the travel and the getting on the plane and having to stop in Detroit both ways, there and back, the trip was nice. I've traveled a couple other times too, but I always suggest the laptop bag, the backpack goes with me, and the laptop, obviously. And I always stick like a pair of clothes in there as well, in case your
Okay.
luggage gets lost or anything goofy, some nonsense.
Yeah, that's really
like
smart.
that.
Yeah.
And I also, like, obviously in the pandemic now, like, hand sanitizer. And what I do is I pack obviously headphones for the plane, things of that nature. Something like things I could live with for a day if my luggage was lost when I get out there, that sort of thing.
Totally.
And technically I don't even try to check bags.
I
Like
don't
I
either.
always, the one backpack that goes on my shoulder that has a laptop in it, and then an actual carry-on that's just small enough to carry what I need for where I'm going, for how long I'm going, and I can put
You
it in
don't
an
need a lot.
overhead.
Because most
apart.
places you stay in,
Yeah.
like hotels and stuff, they have washing facilities and stuff if you want to wash your clothes and stuff.
Yep.
I just bring enough as 2 or 3 days set, and then
Yep.
you can just recycle clothes and stuff like that.
That's
I'd
it.
be bothered to like overpack for work trips or even vacation because it's just too much.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I always try to pack the laptop bag, backpack, and then a small carry-on, because they allow you two bags technically, one to fit under your
sure.
seat and then one
Yeah.
in the overhead compartment, because then everything is on me all the time. It doesn't leave my sight. It doesn't go out of view. And then next thing you know, your luggage is in Mexico City and you're in Detroit. You know, that kind of thing. I try to do that as well. And the other thing too I like to do when I'm traveling, and I learned this from a previous boss that we used to travel, because when I worked at a previous place, we traveled a couple times. And then, so if the boss had to travel to a new place, like if we acquired somebody or whatever, then we all had to travel. So it was like, it was my boss, and then there was a systems guy, and then I was the network guy. And we were like the three musketeers sort of thing, if you will. If he had to travel for something, then he usually brought us two with him. And then he traveled nice. Like, he's the one that like got us onto the TSA pre-check, so we didn't have to deal with any of that. And
that
then,
does
like,
go a long way, honestly. I know some people are on the
Yeah.
fence about that, but honestly, that does make your life so much easier.
It really does. This is awesome.
Like,
So
if you could do one airport upgrade, like most people do with, they buy a new computer, we'll put new RAM in it to make it a little faster. I really feel like pre-TSA is that. And
No,
it
I
lasts
agree.
for 5 years. I really think it's worth the money. It's a pain to set up. You have to go for the interview process and stuff like that, which
Yep.
is about an hour. But once you've done that, you're set for 5 years, and you can get in and out of airports. It just avoids long lines. Sometimes it can be long, but the pre-TSA, it's just less invasive. Like,
Yeah.
most of the time you can keep stuff on, like your jacket or a light jacket, and keep stuff in your bag. It's just, you feel more together. It's more organized, I find. It's
Feel
just
less
annoying
violated.
when... Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You just feel like, what the... Yeah, precisely. That's a great word for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we traveled, like, we went to London, I should say Maidenhead, which is about an hour north of London. We went there. We went to Dallas. There was one or two other places we went to. Anyway, but when we traveled, it was nice. Like he actually traveled. Like he
with class. Yeah.
yeah. If they were gonna make him travel, he was gonna
Spend
make
some
it,
money.
yeah, make it worth his while to actually
yeah.
travel. Yeah. So I can appreciate that too. Like people going, hey, you're gonna make him travel for X amount of days, 3-4 days a week, whatever it is.
Yeah, you better buy him dinner.
Yeah, buy him dinner. Yeah, get him a steak, that kind of thing. So I can appreciate that when he made us travel, that he basically took care of us, and it was a nice. And he had all the ins and outs too, because he traveled way before we ever got there, so he already knew the ins and outs of like where we were going and whatnot. So he's like, "Yeah, you got to do this," and I was like, "Okay, boss." And I was like, "Damn, he was right," that kind of thing. So like, he knew what airlines to go, he knew when to get to airports, like what hotels to stay at. Like he wasn't staying at like 1-star, 2-star, but like he was staying at decent places. I could appreciate that.
Beautiful. Man of my heart.
It was great. Yeah, it was great. He knows who he is. But shout out to him for making.
I tell you who travels well. Who's been on our show? AJ. He was my mentor for a while when we used to do a lot of projects together. And man, we used to eat well. And I was under his wing, so he used to take me to all the fancy places in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Portland, and he just knew great spots and. Showed me about like travel lounges. So if you're a United member and you have a certain amount of points, you don't actually have to wait in the lounge with other people. You can actually go into a private lounge and relax and chill. Sometimes you see like celebrities there, and like you get a drink, and the Wi-Fi is a little better, and you get on your flight a lot faster. So
there you go.
Yeah, he showed me some real insight in traveling, and living it up when you travel.
There you go.
It was nice. I missed those days. We worked hard, but we played even harder.
Played hard. I like it. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I specifically like traveling to Dallas. Going to Dallas, and because we acquired a company down there, so we went down there, and they had two IT staff guys. One that was ready to retire in the next couple of years, and then one that literally his first day on the job was the day that we showed up to be like, hey. How you doing? We're here to see The Office, just like you. Was that one of those things?
Did you want to see his hands?
Let me tell you, we went out to eat. We ate like you wouldn't believe. And Dallas barbecue is unreal.
Yet to try that. I've yet to try. Man. Yeah,
Shout out to the Hard 8 barbecue place in Dallas, because that's where we went. And I had to go back to Dallas once or twice since the original like meet and greet, shake hands, and I ate at the Hard 8 every time. It was like, it was a heart attack waiting to happen, but god damn, it was so good. I'm like, if this is the way I go, I want to go out this way. But Texas barbecue is the real deal. So shout out to all you guys listening down there in Texas. You guys don't know what you have, because here in Pennsylvania, we don't got anything close to that kind of barbecue.
Dude, you make me hungry.
It's so good. It's actually close to dinner time here. We're recording right now. And I'm just getting over a cold. So I don't know if you guys can hear that, a little difference in my voice. So I must have brought something back on the planes. I've been down and out the last couple of days, but yesterday and today, I've sort of come out of the fog and whatnot.
I think there's a huge, I think there's flu season right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people, like I've been hearing, are just like sick, or flu season's like pretty prevalent right now.
Yeah, so it's kind of unleashing that kind of thing. And that kind of brings me to the next thing. The wife packed me the hand sanitizer. And then actually, once you get on a plane, they actually hand you those Clorox wipes kind of thing, those individual Clorox wipes.
Nice. Who did you fly with? What airline?
I've flown with Delta.
Nice. Okay.
So that was pretty decent. They made it real nice. My layovers in Detroit were super short. They were like 50 minutes. So by the time I landed, I had to like race down to Detroit's airport is like ungodly big for no reason. There's like a bunch of terminals. Like,
I hate that when they spot you in one place and it's like the other side.
Yeah,
I'm like, why do you do that?
I know. I had to race, and I'm like, oh great. And I literally had to race there, and next to my gate was one of those like newsstands or whatever. You get snacks and drinks and that kind of shit. And I had just enough time to go get a snack, a bottle of water, and then I sat down. And 10 minutes later, they started the boarding again, and I was like, cool.
That's good.
It worked out in my favor, but like I could see where it doesn't work out in your favor. You know,
sometimes it doesn't. That's caught me out so many times where you land in one spot and you literally can't. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't even run anymore. I'm just like, why did they do that? They're going to now have to change my flight because I'm not running from 35. I'm 35, not 25 anymore. Like I'm in IT, not athletics. I'm not going from one gate to the other in 5 minutes.
I'm not used
exactly. And my Usain Bolt days are over. So
right.
No, you just have to change my flight, and it costs your company money now. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And the other nice, I don't know, say nice thing, but it's since I originally started to fly to now, it's so much more streamlined than it used to be because you
Okay.
have things like Concur and
Oh, I use that a lot.
things of
Concur's
that nature.
fabulous.
Like
Yeah.
it's so convenient. It's so awesome. You literally have to punch in your dates, so where you're going, what airport you're leaving from. They look for hotels, they look for cars, they look for flights. They do it all, and it's
They do.
super convenient. So
I don't know if you're aware of this, but it does all your points too. So you can bang like your Hertz points, your Southwest points, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you do use Concur, you can also get those points because when you travel on your own, then you build up your own points.
Yeah,
and then
put your frequent flyer number in there.
all that good stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
And a nice thing also I like is another handy tip if you're new to Concur. You can actually add when you travel, like you book your like travel dates and stuff. You can actually put in the email, like it sends you a copy.
Yep.
You can also make it send the copy to like your wife, for instance, so she knows where you are, or like your partner or anyone. If you're traveling with, let's say me and you are traveling on a trip, I could be like, oh, send this one to Pat so that he's got my itinerary, so he knows like what hotel I'm staying in, when I'm getting in town, so that it just makes life a lot more visibility and easier. So I like that.
Yeah, that's nice. I did not know about that, but that is cool. And most places, most established companies will have something like Concur set up. It's drilled into their corporate policy, and they get the breaks, and it's all in their corporate card, whatever you want to call it. So then you basically said Hertz. So I showed up, and I didn't necessarily need a car in Des Moines. I basically could have Ubered to the hotel. And then basically they have a skywalk out there. So it's basically nice. Like downtown Des Moines, where it's like a couple block radius, whatever, a couple mile radius, whatever it is. And between all the downtown, I don't want to call them skyscrapers because they're not that big, but they're all large office buildings, etc., and hotels. They're all connected through this skywalk, so you never actually have to go outside. You can literally just walk the skywalk from building to building, and you never touch the outside. It's like the wildest thing. I was like, I'm from Pennsylvania. I've never seen this in my entire life. It's kind of wild.
That's cool.
So technically, I could have Ubered from the airport to my hotel, and my office building was literally less than a 5-minute walk through the skywalk. I never even had to step a foot outside. So next time I go, I'm not renting a car. It's just I'll Uber and be done with it. That kind of thing. The other thing too, like when you travel in that aspect, I always try to get some sort of like local flavor of what that city has to offer. And for me, I'm a big craft beer guy. So I always try to find like a craft beer place to sit at the bar and shoot the shit with the local or whoever is the bartender or whatever.
Absolutely.
And just say, hey, you got this. Shout out to Exile Brewing in Des Moines. Their stuff was really good. The place was really top-notch stuff. So it was a really nice place and some great folk there. And it was pretty busy. The bar wasn't too packed, but like the tables and whatnot, they were full all night long. So I sat there and had a meal, had a couple beers, and then walked home. Or walked back to the hotel. It was like, I don't know, it was like under a half a mile, something like that. So it was super close.
Sweet.
So I didn't have to technically get the car out of the valet parking. I always try to get some sort of local flavors. And I know a lot of people that like are gym rats. So they'll use the gym at the local hotel, or they'll do like a Pilates session or, something of that nature because that's what they're into. I just happen to be the opposite way and like food and beer. Hey, to each their own. So you got to do what you got to do. But, some people like the arts and crafts, and some cities are more known for that sort of thing. I would say just take advantage of what's
local to your city,
local to that city, and kind of spread your wings that way, if you will, and go from there.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to travel to Napa Valley and Sonoma.
Damn.
And done a lot of wine, and and done a lot of wine tasting and stuff like that there. That's been phenomenal.
Look at that.
Really has. Yeah, that was just, and shout out to Stuart Spoto, who still sends me and my family wine every quarter. He's one of the best wineries that I've tasted in California. His stuff is superb. Yeah, really like that. But traveling to sort of vineyards and tasting different types of wine and getting to just like be out there and take it all in is just really nice, really breathtaking. Honestly, you should definitely do your due diligence of checking out what the city has to offer. And most of the time, if you go and stay in nice hotels or a decent hotel, I have to book what's local, what activities there are. TripAdvisor, and Travel Advisor is huge as well.
Yep.
Have good good reviews that are from like people, not organizations, like real reviews. So definitely check those things out. They're really good at go-tos and basically find out what's going on in the city you're visiting.
Yeah, and I agree. I think taking in the local flair is a big plus because you don't necessarily get that from where you live. So you know what's available to you where you live, and it's always nice to get outside that bubble for a little bit. And
Hard, yeah. Like you said with the ales, mostly it's alcohol driven. Like probably like you, Pat. It's alcohol and food. Like, how does the barbecue taste in this town? How does the wine or the ale taste? How do they do it here?
That's right.
When I went to Hawaii, I went to the rum tasting. That was good.
Yeah,
I managed to bring back some rum and coffee. That was really fun. So yeah, I'm always just whatever's around. Sometimes it's walks, like taking in the beaches, and just whatever's around really.
Yep.
You get a free moment, just go enjoy it because travel's expensive, and
it is.
It's good to just appreciate the town or city you're in. If I happened to be in San Francisco and I managed to watch 49ers game, which was awesome.
There you go. You a 49ers guy?
No, but
okay.
It just my wife is so
okay. Right
so like we enjoyed it. Cool. I'm still trying to find my team. So
okay, all right, I can get behind that.
But everyone said it should be Raiders, but I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced yet.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. No, that's cool. I agree. You got to take in the local flair as much as you can. And it was interesting to see what happens outside of your state or bubble, however you want to call it, and how people do things in other parts of the country, and even like from a business perspective, like how different things are from office to office. Right, the vibe from one office in one state to another office in another state can be and usually are completely different. You know, from people to things they do for company culture. Like they're usually pretty different, and that's usually a good thing.
Yeah, totally. I think it's good to absorb that, and don't be afraid to travel and see your colleagues, especially if your company don't mind footing the bill for travel. If you can, I would say at least for a position like me where I work from home, I definitely try to get out and see my team at least once or twice every sort of 3 months.
Yep.
Just to make sure everything's going well, or if they got questions, or just try to be a part of a project. So you want to keep those bridges like open and alive. And I feel like travel's good for that. Jump on someone's project or ask if they need help if you have the availability and time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think we talked about this before, Dean. I think as far as the mentors and getting someone from a mentor perspective from the technical side to lead you in your career and kind of piggyback them and quote unquote ride their coattails. But I think, especially if you're new to the company like I am, like you need somebody there that's local, that may not necessarily be in the same technical space, but somebody that knows the office, the area, just enough to give you their going share of light and their sort of spin on things. And hey, here's a good place to eat, or hey, you can get to this place in your hour lunch break, whatever it is, but you can't get to this place, or that sort of thing time wise. And so knowing that person or latching onto that person and opening up your eyes to the culture that they have there at that office, I think that's important too.
For sure. Yeah, that's huge.
So shout out to James and Stephanie, who are my eyes in Des Moines. So they showed me the ropes, especially Stephanie, who is a beer drinker like me. So she turned me on to the Exile Brewing and a couple other places. It just so happens that I got to Exile. That's all the time I had to go to one spot, but I would have liked to done more. But she really turned me on to that, and it was a good time. But yeah, you definitely need your local colleagues there to show you the ropes, and those two were it for me. So shout out to them. They made the trip super comforting and a really well-rounded trip.
Nice. It was a good reason to go back, right?
Yeah,
sample some more ale.
That's it. That's what you got to do.
It's all good.
Yeah. Did you have any more tips on that, on as far as like the business side of things? I know that was more like a general travel sort of thing.
Yes, I do actually, because when it comes to expenses, I am the friggin' worst. And what I mean by the worst is like the reporting aspect. Oh, now it comes to like, you've done your trip, you landed, it's been 2 weeks. What did I spend? And then did I take a picture for a receipt for that one?
Yep.
Where did that receipt go? So my travel tip, and if you can take anything away from this, is as you're living life through travel, just snap away and take pictures of your receipts
Yep.
and just do it in real time. Don't wait for that stuff when you get back,
Yeah, because it's bound to get lost.
It gets lost. You forget. You don't know what you did. It's
Goes to the wash.
Then you start hyperventilating. Am I gonna have to pay for this now because I lost the receipt? The amount of times that's happened to me is unreal.
You'd be a millionaire by now, Dean.
So yeah, honestly, in real time, take those pictures of receipts and collect all your information because it's honestly difficult to do it when you get back.
Yeah, that's a good one. So the good thing about Concur, at least I've used Concur at a couple different places, so that's the one I'm familiar with, but maybe there's others, similar places out there or similar apps out there. They have an app for the phone as well. Each company policy is different, right? So it's over, some places are like, hey, anything over $30, anything over whatever. Ours is 50. So anything over $50, I had to produce a receipt for. Good thing I didn't spend anything over 50, so I'm not on the hook for that. But you could technically take the receipt and take a picture of it and upload it right to Concur, and it's done right then and there. You don't have to save the receipt, nothing. It's all
easy. Yeah, precise. That's how I do it. Just have it through the app, and it just makes life easier. You build like your expense policy before you go on a trip, and you just add it all in as you like living through real time, and it just makes it easy for me because I've tried it the other way, and honestly, I'm horrible. I'm so bad at it.
Yeah,
and imagine most people are bad at. Especially if you travel a lot. I can imagine people traveling week in, week out. And then if you just let that collect, it's terrible. And I'm not sure what your company is, but ours, we're meant to submit expenses every week.
Oh, wow.
Technically don't because I don't travel every week. I try to do it every month. But yeah, most people have to definitely do it every week.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I just like, me and you are probably about the tech. I don't want to do like expenses or admin. It's just like,
yeah. You never got time for HR work and all. Finance? What's finance? Nobody got time for that. I hear you. I'm just trying to do my job, grab a beer and get out.
Precisely.
That's how I roll. That and downhills. So those are a couple of tips, and this is just off the cuff. We didn't really have anything planned for this. We missed the episode last week because Dean and I were both traveling. It was a nice unwind and regroup and things of that nature. So it was good to get back on the mic here, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback and a couple different emails from people that want to collab with us. You may hear us on some other podcasts soon. So stay tuned for that, and we'll let you know when our date and time comes up so you can check us out in some other people's podcasts. I feel like this IT community is really strong in that aspect of people just trying to help other people out and get over some of the humps. And I think there's a larger community out there than I realized, or that you and I realized, Dean. And now that we're in this community, I think a lot of people have bonded together and trying to help each other out in various aspects and bridges of life.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I really do enjoy about our community. It's very warm and receptive. Yeah, you do get the occasional one who's a bit hard and difficult to work with, but generally the community is really warm, loving, and nice. So yeah, I definitely shout out to the IT community and those who are trying to collab, and our fans out there who are supporting us and are determined to us when a few of those weeks we missed when we weren't able to produce a show. Thank you for pushing us back towards the mic. And yeah, there's going to be plenty more shows. I think we should cover one, Pat, where we talk about I'm not sure how it is in the East Coast, but I'm just seeing like a lot on the news and just a lot of the flair of people, even in my team, like the IT shortage and general tech shortage. If you like, maybe cover that. Because a lot of people are moving right now. There's apparently a lot of opportunity and growth in salaries and stuff like that. There's a real shortage in security, in just general technology, to be honest with you.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And headhunters are like offering like twice, 3 times people's current salary. I feel it'll be a good space to definitely explore, or even if we can get your recruiter guy on to see what his thoughts are about this new wild west of IT and the current shortage. I think that would be like advantageous to our listeners, and yeah, I would love to get into that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. We have a couple folks coming up. I guess I can name drop. I think we're towards the end here, and this was supposed to be a short episode anyway, with just the travel tips in it and whatnot. So we usually combine a couple topics per episode, but this travel one seems to formed on its own, and it was on an island, and we didn't really have much to package it. We have a couple guests coming up that are confirmed for the show. The one I'm really excited about is we're gonna talk to her next week, early next week. She is the author of CCIE by 30, so she is the main content creator, I think the sole content creator really, for CCIE by 30. So the idea for her was she a couple of years ago, she wanted to get her CCIE by the age of 30. She loved to blog. She loved to, write, and she loved tech, and she tried to figure out a way on how to combine both of those. So she started a blog, and it's a lot of good intel, detailed information, and she's obviously a woman and a woman of color, and that whole thing of getting more women involved in STEM and tech and the whole deal. So she writes about that. She got an award a couple of years ago for the top Cisco blog. Like, she's up there.
Oh,
man.
nice.
So yeah, so we're talking to her next week, and we've been trying to nail her down the last couple of weeks, and then Dean and I traveled. She's coming up. Like Dean said, my recruiter friend Dan works for Robert Half. He's coming on. Just nail him down, so he's ready and willing to go. I have a buddy, Mike, who I've worked with him in a couple different places. He's a big sysadmin guy, Microsoft, Azure, the whole deal. He's working for a Microsoft contractor right now. He's coming on and hanging out. We got quite a few people lined up. We got to get them going. And I got to be honest, Dean and I aren't the best at planning these things.
It's hard to get your ducks in a row.
It is. Sure. It's really hard. Imagine how good we'd be if we actually donated an ounce of time to actually being structured and putting things on calendars and actually
That's
having
what project managers are for.
Yeah, we're going to hire one of those. So I'm going to talk to one right after. No, so yeah, imagine how good we'd be if we actually devoted some time to actually getting structured and getting guests on the calendar instead of a week ahead of time like we do now. So I feel like we could do better with that. And it's just us being honest with you guys. And it's a hobby for Dean and I. And like I said, we've gotten some great feedback. And I think, to me, it's shocking to me. I feel like this is more important than we originally expected it to be. Like, this is taken off and people have really gotten some good value out of this. And I just thought this was just an avenue, Dean, for you and I to talk and just say,
for sure,
hey, this is our thoughts. Instead of us trying to shoehorn one of the junior guys, you in Vegas, Dean, and me here in Pennsylvania, and be like, listen to me, I know the way. This was our way of doing that. And whoever wants to listen can feel free to do.
Yeah, definitely. At least it's out there. And I just want to share some information. You don't have to ram it down people's throat. You can just be more chilled. And in the day and age where we live in technology and podcasting being such a huge factor in sharing thoughts and ideas right now, I just feel like, it's a good space to just the wisdom we've acquired over the last decade or so. So yeah, absolutely. There's going to be so many more. There's a huge gap in IT. There's going to be so much more folks sort of coming through that industry. And why should, I don't know, thousands or maybe even millions of people make the same dumb mistakes we did? Let's save a few of them for sure. And even if they got 5% of the information we've promoted or shared with our community out there, at least it's something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think this was a good avenue, right? So it serves dual purposes for us. Gets our thoughts, like you said, out there on the airwaves, and whoever wants to listen and come take a flyer on us, they're more than welcome, and we're here to help. And that's where our bread's been buttered. This is just a better way to get to more people, to expand the reach. So we can't be mad at it. Yeah, I think that was it. Like I said, it's a little shorter episode this week, but that's cool. We actually have, like I said, a couple other guests coming on this week, just trying to get recorded and edited and all that kind of fun stuff. Dean, do you have anything else to add here before we get out of here?
No, nothing to add. Thank you for joining us again. We're going to be going into season 2, where we're going to be talking to our guests and their fans about, now that you're in IT, how do you do things a little different? And we're going to have more guests and more insight in order to help you navigate those challenging and difficult waters.
Yeah, I think season 2 is going to come right around the corner here, and we got some great content lined up, again, with some great guests to hang with us. As always, email us, drop us a chat on Twitter or DM, whatever. Dean, you run the Instagram channel, that kind of thing. So we're here, man. We're on Facebook or anything like that. So don't feel afraid to reach out or have a question. There's no stupid questions out there. It's always what you've been told. Yeah, just let us know, man. We're here to help and give whatever value we can. So we're going to get out of here this week. We want to thank you for joining this week in So You Want to Be in IT. Make sure you follow us on our socials. right? So the facebook.com slash so you want to be an IT, and then you have our website, so you want to be an IT.com. You can subscribe to the show right from there. Or listen within your favorite platform, right? Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. All the links are there. And then also throw us a rating on Apple Podcasts. That'd be awesome. And or simply tell a friend. That helps too. And I think the tell a friend is really working from the feedback we've gotten. Kudos to you guys who just keep spreading the word out there. That's super cool. Again, Twitter and Instagram are out there at at So You Want to Be an IT. Again, facebook.com/So You Want to Be an IT. And then the Discord server, all of our socials, the Discord server invite, it's all in the show notes. So go check that out. And then we also, Dean, I get a lot of questions on, or we get a lot of questions, I should say, on how can people support the show. Like they really like what we're saying, and they get a lot of feedback from us, and we get a lot of feedback from them, and value and things of that nature. So Dean and I decided to start a Patreon for you guys that want to do the subscription. You throw us a couple of bucks. It's not much. So you do patreon.com/so you want to be an IT, and you can see some of the verbiage there of what you get per package. Again, there's only 2 packages, nothing too crazy, but to put the show in perspective, it takes probably save anywhere between 20 and 25 hours per show, right? So that's recording, that's editing, that's socials, that's content creation and things of that
collaboration,
nature. Collabs, or trying to chase people down, and if it's with a guest, it's probably closer to 30. So it's a lot to go into these episodes and take the time, and we both have lives and kids and that sort of thing. So anything you can throw at us if you really like what we're saying, let us know. Again, patreon.com/So You Want to Be an IT, and check out what you get per subscription there. So throw that out there. That's relatively new. It would be awesome if you guys could support us and let us know. Dean, that's it. We're gonna get out of your hair. I'm gonna go eat some dinner, and again, keep an eye out for season 2. We have a couple cool topics that we're shifting and try to play the game here. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next week.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.
Is there anybody there?